Hey, welcome to Hillside at Home. Today I'm talking to Jailie Laux. So, hey, Jailie, welcome. So, we'll kick it
Hi.
off and just go ahead and ask you, what is God teaching you or telling you, showing you right now?
So this has definitely been a new experience, I think, for everybody right now. And for me, God has definitely been going into like where I find my joy and where I find my peace. And those are things right now that we don't really have a lot of. And for me, I realized I get a lot of my joy and my peace from outside of my house. And so this has been something that has definitely tried that joy and that peace. And I think that God has just been challenging me to sit down and actually listen to what He has to say to me. And for me, like I get my peace and my from I think the illusion of control that we think that we all have in this world. And, we really don't have much control in what is
Yeah.
happening around us. And so, digging deep and praying and talking to God and actually listening and taking that time to not take my first response, but actually waiting and listening for what He has to say, I think is hard in how fast we move nowadays. So that's been a lot on my mind.
Nice. That reminded me of when you talked about where peace comes from. And I, I want to say it was what Louis was talking about this week, and something about God's commands, and then you'll find peace. But then also reminded me of like if you set your mind on like the good things in like Philippians, whatever's true, whatever's pure, like you'll have the peace of God, like will dwell in your heart. And so it's just like staying focused on that and having that deeper, lasting peace versus
Yeah.
kind of like fleeting enjoyment. So I think when we, a lot of times, like you said, when we look for um, our like peace and joy in like other things or like outside things, like that's
Mhm.
very fleeting. Those things
Yeah, and
are
I think
like,
we lean on happiness a lot, which
yeah.
happiness and joy are very different. And for me, we always look for that happy feeling
Hmm.
where life isn't always happy, but you can
Yeah.
find joy in the little things. And I think right now when we don't have all of our extracurricular hobbies right now, like, okay, where do I find joy in myself? Where do I find
Hmm.
joy in my house? Where do I find joy in my spouse? Where do I find joy in, all these things that are close and that I can put my control in, that, you can take the time to step back and be like, wow, I have all of these things that, you know, weren't even apparent to me before all this. And I'm like, wow, I
Yeah.
have so much like joy in my house.
That's cool. Yeah. It's like almost forcing you to notice the things that you overlook or take for granted or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And
And
I just love talking about joy. It's because
yeah.
it's my middle name. And I like, so I've always, my parents have always said, like, it's such an appropriate middle name because, or people will say that, like, because you just are always, joyful and happy. And
Yeah.
what I guess happy, I shouldn't equate the two, right? But yeah, I've just always liked to try to find joy and exude joy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's important. And during this time, I think it's even more important to encourage one another to
Yeah.
be finding joy. And, if you've been called for that, I mean, it's your name. So you've been called to bring
There you
joy to
go.
people. So during this time, it's like really important to be like, what are little things that I can do, even over
Yeah.
text, that can bring joy
Yeah.
to people in my life, or, you know, outreaching and just getting outside of your comfort zone for sure.
Of course, we can't mention joy right now without, in these days, without mentioning Marie Kondo and saying, does
Yes.
this spark joy?
Yes. Touch it. Do you feel joy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, not so Marie Kondo, if you don't know, people look up the show Tidying Up, and she's about like getting rid of clutter, and she'll ask people like, does this thing spark joy? And then don't
Mhm.
decide if you keep it or not. But you can even look at that in not just items, but just things that you're doing in your life, right? Like, is this thing sparking joy? Like,
Yeah.
then if it's not life-giving, like maybe reassess it. Yeah.
Right. Don't
Use that as
invest
a tool.
that energy into it if it's not bringing you joy, especially during
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today. And
Absolutely.
I'm gonna like go out now. It's super nice outside, and
I
sun
know.
and outdoors sparks joy in me. So definitely
Yeah.
sometime today and this afternoon, I'm gonna go out and get some sun.
Yeah. Go invest in your joy.
Yeah. I love it. Go take care of your chickens.
Oh yeah, they're a full-time job.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I
Yeah,
can't
you
wait till
too.
we get to hang out again.
I know.
Game nights.
Yes.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
How are your chickens?
They are very big, so if I have to run out because they jump out, that's why I'm dipping out.
Oh, they're still inside the house.
Yeah, I can show you
Yeah.
one.
Okay. And they jump out and run around?
Yeah.
Oh no. Ah! Wow, yeah, those are pretty big for being inside chickens.
Yes. So yeah, I didn't realize that this took that long for them to get their feathers. So they're
Oh,
just waiting on these undergrowth feathers. Yeah, I know. And then they can go outside.
okay.
So, but yeah.
Fun. Do they make a lot of noise?
Um, sometimes if they jump out and they want back in their house because they're in like a bucket right now,
Mhm.
like a storage bin,
Yeah.
then she's an alarm clock. She has woken me up at 5 a.m. because she's fallen out of
Put
her
me
home.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Put me back. I want to
Yeah.
go home. I feel that. I want to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Like one high school, the field they played at, when I was in high school,
Mhm.
the one end of the field off to the side there was like a chicken farm, and I thought like cow smell. I mean, cow smell. I'd gotten used to from being in the
Right.
Midwest, and even pigs, like they're pretty nasty. Or, like they're worse than cows, but I can handle it. Chickens, oh, it was nasty. And that half that we were like when we were in that half of the field, and I was a keeper, so I'm in the goal, so I'm just standing there, and it just reeked like
Oh.
chickens. Today I'm talking to wait, we got to start over.
Okay.
Is your last name, do you say it Lux or Laux or like
Laux.
Laux? Okay,
Yeah.
I got to make sure before I like. Good. All right. Well, that'll be in the bloopers.